Okay, so it seems like Riot has made an error last night on the draw of the second round of the Swiss stage of Masters Santiago. So the thing is, Leo said that we made a mistake on today's draw on stage during the live broadcast. The second team was placed in the wrong position, which cascaded throughout the rest of the draw, leading to all other teams being placed incorrectly. This is unfortunate since over 3 hours have gone past and teams have wasted precious prep time. They know that, that's good, but we have to do what's right. So wait, what is right? What's supposed to be the right thing? What? Anyway, so we're getting coaches together at the hotel and we'll redo the draw. We'll film it and share the full video on socials, more details shortly. Okay, so basically what they're saying is that how the teams were placed here and here were incorrect. For context, usually what happens is that they always lay out the first teams. What that means is that they would lay out the first match here and then the second drawn team would be going here. But what happened on this draw was that the second drawn team was placed here, which means that the first drawn team and the second drawn team was fighting against each other, where previously the placements of those teams were not like that. So let's just see what happens. Oh, wait, what is that? Look at that. Did you see that? He was about to get this ball here and then he suddenly shifted here? What is that? That's kind of weird. Interesting. What is that? Anyway, it's the first draw, so I guess it doesn't hurt. But that's really something, you know. Paper X was drawn first, so they go here. Now for the second draw.
Who's gonna be the Paper X match?
Okay, you hear the Valina, I think is her name, right? She said, who's gonna be the Paper X matchup? Something like that, right? But the second draw was not supposed to be the team that fights Paper X. The second drawn team should be the other match. So this is now where the mistake happens. She will put it besides Paper X, not below. So what Leo was saying is that the correct way to do it was to put M8, gentle mates, damn it man, to put gentle mates below here, right? They're not matched up against each other. So that happens, and basically it happened all throughout the draw. So if you look at it right now, the matchups are Paper X and gentle mates, then Energy versus Team Liquid. So but what was supposed to happen here was it was going to be Paper X versus NRG and then General Mates versus Team Liquid. And then on the lower bracket side, we have this EDG versus G2, XLG versus T1. But what it's supposed to be is that it's EDG versus XLG and then G2 versus T1. So, and this is funny because I'm pretty sure Platchat predicted these two, G2 and T1, to be the favorites to win the tournament. And now they're both in the brink of elimination. And then another thing is that these two are both Chinese teams. So interesting, right? So the question now is Intra Regional matchups permitted? Because these are both from EMEA and these teams are both from China. So is Intra Regional matchups permitted? And let's try to look and see. So basically, yes, round 2 and 3 Intra Regional matchups are permitted. So now let's move on. So why is Riot insisting to make this change even though it has been so late? This has been posted, I think, an hour ago. Yeah, an hour and a few minutes ago. What Leo is saying here is that 3 hours have gone, but I think it's more than that, right? This stuff is for 5 hours long that was streamed 10 hours ago. So basically it's like minimum 5 hours if my math is correct, but if not, then correct me in the comments. A lot of coaches are not, I mean not a lot, but some coaches are voicing out that this does not make sense. And I hope Wendler here can be the voice of reason and the other coaches follow suit, because it really doesn't make sense to make the change now. Because, you know, the redraw can f up a team so bad. Because if you look at it, if you redraw here, what's a good example? So hypothetically speaking, let's say Paper X draws energy in the redraw. I think it would be a disadvantage for energy, because we've seen before that they struggle against teams that they have not prepped for. Like when G2 bulldozed them in the middle bracket, they were not ready for what G2 prepared. And that was the W Gaming stuff that Paper X easily dismantled yesterday. So again, this is hypothetical. We don't know if Paper X would actually demolish energy if they fight later in the day. So yeah, but if theory proves right, energy is in a big disadvantage if they go against Paper X, because again, Paper X is the extreme version of what G2 showed them in the middle bracket. But yeah, like I said, hypotheticals. So that's one disadvantage the redraw can create. So yeah, it looks bad for some teams. Anyway, so again, why do they insist on making this change or doing a redraw? And what Leo is saying, because it's the right thing to do. We can't move forward with a tournament knowing the matchups are wrong. What? How do you decide the matchups are wrong? Because it was placed incorrectly? And what is the right thing to do? You're basically late more than 3 hours now. Is it still the right thing to do? I'm not sure about that, man. It feels like something is up here, you know? So now, let's go to that part where we try to connect the dots, where we speculate. I'm saying it clearly now because on the last video, some people are talking about a specific part of the video where it's basically a trust me bro thing. Well, I'm not asking people to trust me, but it's a speculation, you know? None of those takes of mine are set in stone, so whatever. So now let's think about why is Riot insisting of doing this, because in my opinion, the redraw is not the right thing to do anymore with how much time has passed. So the one big reason I'm thinking of as to why they're pushing this so hard is because basically it's not about these teams, because they still have one matchup. If whoever loses here, they still have one match later. What's more important is if you look at this, because basically you see G2 and T1 against Chinese teams. And if you look at it, Chinese teams are looking really shaky right now. Basically, if these matches were to happen, then pretty much EBG and XLG are out, which means there are no more Chinese teams for the Swiss stage. And that means the Chinese viewership will be gone. And it would not be until playoffs till a Chinese team goes to the stage again, with all gamers on the first seed, right? What I'm trying to say here is that Riot wants to secure a Chinese team until the end of the Swiss stage so that they can keep the Chinese viewership intact. Because honestly speaking, there is no need for a redraw with the matches that we have right now. They are good, they're quality matches. Whoever gets eliminated gets eliminated. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, you know, that's seeing this. I don't know, let me know down below. So yeah. So as I was making this video, I guess the draw happened and now we have this new matchups, which is actually PRX and NRG and then M8 versus Team Liquid. So to not be labeled as a conspiracy theorist, I'm gonna stop now because I guess we'll have to wait and see if my theory would be correct, that NRG would struggle now against PaperX. Not only did they not prep for them, but now they have little time to change things and stuff. Why I'm confident about PaperX is because they could just wing it, you know, they could just throw things and make it work. They are a very instinctive team in my eyes, so yeah. But that's just my take. What do you think about all these stuff? And yeah, as always, see you guys in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.